fiber optics, and beyond. ASTI, training tomorrow's leaders today.
Do you need treatment for obesity or any related abdominal procedures? The community hospital now offers minimally invasive laparoscopic surgery done by an American-trained, board-certified surgeon with over 20 years' experience. Give us a call at 235-5479 for more information.
The Community Hospital of Seventh-day Adventist,
Where good private health care is affordable.
Low energy? Heart concerns? Migraines slowing you down? It's time to take control of your health. Join Wellness Unlocked, the series that brings expert advice and real solutions for a healthier you. In our latest episode, learn how Jameson CoQ10 can help support heart health, boost energy, and even reduce migraines. Get the science, the stories, and the steps to power up your health with CoQ10. Don't miss Wellness Unlocked. Watch now on WESN and start your wellness journey today.
KDM Health Limited says, test yourself for STDs in the privacy of your own home. Our self-help test kits for all STDs are available at our wholesale office in Chaguanas. Call 283-1423. Visit our website at www.kdmhealtht.com. or email us at kdmhealthlimited@gmail.com to place your orders. Available at all health institutions and pharmacies. Contact us for a free list of products and prices.
Knowing how to tell authentic is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Find it, match it, search it. Step 1. Find the style number on the tag. Step 2. Match the style number inside the jersey with the number on the tag. Step 3. Search it. A quick Google search of the style number will verify the jersey is authentic when the search results match the jersey being searched. Don't be fooled by counterfeit jerseys. Before you buy, remember to find it, match it, search it.
Fan Zone, 2 locations nationwide. Center City Mall, Chaguanas, and Movietown, Port of Spain. Nationwide delivery available.
Our award-winning show is back, and this season promises to be even more exciting than before. What's Up, Doc isn't just a title. It's a call to action for anyone who wants to improve their health and well-being. Join us on this thrilling ride towards better health on WESN Content Capital.
Remember waking up early just to catch your favorite cartoons? WESN brings back those magical mornings with Retro Saturdays.
Thus, the Powerpuff Girls were born!
Where the young at heart relive the fun. Join us every Saturday from 8 a.m. to 12 noon, only on WESN, the content capital.
Take some time for yourself or spend some time with the family at Sandy Point Village Hotel. Enjoy our various studio and suite apartments, self-contained with their own kitchenettes and Wi-Fi. We also have our famous 100-foot swimming pool and our beachfront restaurant, The Steak and Lobster Grill. And our location in Crown Point puts us near the center of activity from the nylon pool to the local nightlife. Call us and make your reservations at 639-8533, 389-2378 or email us at sandypointvillagehotel@gmail.com.
FanZone, your reliable, authentic supplier, has just gotten better. You can now visit our website www.fanzonett.com for your authentic wear and collectibles. The only place where you can use both your Visa debit and credit cards. Visit our website fanzonett.com to make your purchase today.
Every word, every line, every paragraph depicts a real moment in someone's life. A father, a sister, a mother, a brother. We at Newsday are dedicated to you, the people, and through independent, unwavering journalism, strive to always bring your stories to life. Because your stories are more than just words. Newsday, independent and credible.
SM Group International Limited, your solutions partner for the latest innovations, brands, and competent staff to meet your needs. We provide products and services in the following divisions: executive services, event rental and services, power and heavy equipment, construction and property management, food and beverage, aggregate and sales and distribution. Check out more on our products and services at www.smgrouptt.com. Contact us at 221-7445 or email at info@smgrouptt.com. We are SM Group International, your solutions partner.
Maybe he landed here totally by coincidence. But if by chance he's admiring your fresh coat of Benjamin Moore soft sky blue, well, that's a pretty high compliment. Coming from an expert.
WESN.
Good morning and welcome to AM Prime on WESN. So this morning Jada is joining me via Zoom. Good morning, Jada. Yeah. All right. So, well, it's Friday. Jada, how are you doing this morning? I'm sorry to say you look tired.
Girl, it's Friday. I'm just glad that it's Friday. But yeah, this week has been trying to say the least. How about you?
I'm good. But I'm happy that you made it through the week.
Yeah, of course. It's such a good day to, as previous host kids, I need to say a good day to have a great day, and I'm always happy to be here on AM Prime.
Awesome. We love to have you. So keep it up. All right. So September is Life Insurance Awareness Month. This is a new development that I learned recently. So as a result, this morning we want to tackle some of the misconceptions when it comes to life insurance. Now, insurance is something often thought of as, well, it's people often think life insurance comes into play only after death, but in reality it is just as important for those who survive. So from critical illnesses to accidents, the financial and emotional toll can last a lifetime. And that's where proper insurance coverage comes into play and makes a big difference. So today we're joined by Darren Jacobs, financial certified professional, to break down why insurance is more than just a safety net, but a key pillar of financial planning. So we'll be exploring the coverage gaps in Trinidad and Tobago, the impact of critical illnesses on families, and what it really takes to be financially prepared. Good morning, Darren. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So, jumping straight into it, many people thinks of insurance only as a payout after death, right? How would you redefine insurance in today's context?
So I would say, firstly, insurance has a lot of misconceptions, right? And the reality is most persons don't see the importance of it until they are in that situation or until they would have known somebody close who would be in a situation that they should have benefited from insurance, but they didn't. So for example, let's just say you're looking at a married couple and they have a mortgage together, they have 2 kids. And the husband in this situation here earns more than the wife, and he is the one who's paying the majority of the mortgage, if not all of the mortgage, and the wife would see about other different things. So they would have their standard of living at a certain level. In the event of his passing, his wife now she has a gap to fill in terms of replacing his income. If he has no life insurance coverage, the mortgage the bank would have to come back and take back the property because she's not able to pay the mortgage in that instance. Their family standard of living will decrease because she's not able to maintain all of the expenses and all the things that she was doing on her own salary without really having to study about the things that he would cover.
Yeah.
So insurance in that situation now would replace his income for a particular period of time, pay off the mortgage, and maintain the family's standard of living.
So, I mean, there was a statistic that people are more likely to face critical illnesses before 60 than die, right?
Yeah.
What does that statistic mean for how we should approach insurance in Trinidad and Tobago?
One of the major causes of critical illness claims in Trinidad is cancer, right? Breast cancer in particular with women. And a lot of women don't see the importance of it until that time comes. I would have had a lot of clients who unfortunately would have been diagnosed with breast cancer. And the reality is, he doesn't realize how important this thing is. He doesn't realize how expensive critical illness care or the doctor visits and all of the other things that are associated with dealing with a critical illness cost until you are in that situation. So for example, let's just say one of my clients who would have had cancer, right? Her situation was she would have had to go and do surgery. And also based on the nature of her cancer, at the point in time when she would have discovered it, it would have been at an advanced stage. So she would have had situations where it would have had to go into do a lot of chemotherapy and a lot of things that health insurance may not cover. Sometimes she may have to be away from work for a long period of time. So the critical illness claim that she would have received would have been able to maintain her current standard of living and not really put her in a situation where she is away from work, she has to take unpaid time off, and then her standard of living is decreasing. She's not able to pay her bills, her mortgage, all these different things. So in that situation, critical illness insurance would have benefited her while she's living.
Yeah. And in your experience, what other financial burdens arise when, I mean, someone falls critically ill, apart from the initial medical bills? Things that insurance would cover.
The future, so let's say, for example, right? Mm-hmm. There are many critical illnesses that people could get diagnosed with. Cancer is not the only one. And some critical illnesses, unfortunately, are degenerative. So let's say for somebody who has Parkinson's, and I know someone who has Parkinson's in particular, mm-hmm. He's still living, yes, but he would have been diagnosed in his, if I'm not mistaken, probably late 40s or early 50s. Mm-hmm. So it would have been a situation where he did not have coverage. And this is how not having coverage could affect the family dynamic, right? In their situation, he would have been able to work for a certain point in time, but then he would not have been able to continue to work based on how severe the tremors would have been in terms of developing Parkinson's. Because if Parkinson's is a degenerative disease, it causes extreme tremors. Sometimes you're not able to function in normal settings for too long of a period. In his situation, his wife would have had to leave her job to take care of it, right? Mm-hmm. And that's two incomes that the family would have been losing to that extent in terms of maintaining the standard of living. And it reached a point where she would not have been able to continue to take care of him, because to lift him out of bed, all these different things, she'd have had to hire a caretaker, right? Mm-hmm. So all of these things are additional costs where your health insurance does not cover. So they would have been in a situation that would have been very dire, and he unfortunately still is dealing with that illness to this day.
And I actually saw something that there are insurance policies that allow for life insurance that people can take even up until they're 70. They can get covered, right?
Yeah. So when it comes to life insurance, there are different types, right? Mm-hmm. You have term insurance, which doesn't build any cash value, but it goes up to a certain period. Let's say 60, 65, age 70, up to age 80. Yeah. And they have whole life insurance. Now, whole life insurance runs to age 100. So for persons who have children, you basically want to make sure that regardless of whatever point in time you pass away, your family receives something. Mm-hmm. Whole life insurance is for you, so you have coverage regardless of whatever point in time that you decide to pass away. If you decide to live a full life,
there are people who believe that when you reach a certain age or the older you get, it's harder to get life insurance.
That is true.
Oh, it is true. It's harder to get life insurance.
Life insurance is paid with is bought with money, but paid with your health, right? What I mean by that is that you need to be in a good state, you need to be healthy in order to qualify for life insurance, because there are medical conditions or medical requirements that is needed for all life insurance policies, right? So if it is you are already sick, unfortunately, you pass the point, depending on what type of illness you have, of being able to qualify for life insurance. And sometimes when it is younger, you pay significantly less versus when it is you are a little bit more advanced in age.
All right, understood. Okay, so let's talk about. Go ahead, Jada.
I'm gonna say some people might have a problem sometimes. They complain about insurance when it is that they have to take life insurance, health insurance, and then say critical illness. So some people might ask why on certain diseases or illnesses covered under health insurance, why do you have to go and get a whole separate something else?
Because it's two different types of policies, right? So health insurance will cover for minor medicals. So things like dental visits, doctor visits, minor surgeries, things of that nature, things that are not critical in nature, things that you can afford, or things that will not make you financially bankrupt, right? Cancer, however, the cost for cancer is significant in terms of cancer care. So sometimes cancer care could range, you could pay millions in cancer. There was a businessman who passed recently. Unfortunately, he would have had a lot of financial, for want of a better word, prowess, and he would have spent, if I'm not mistaken, like about $5 million in medical care, things of that nature, and he still passed. So your critical illness coverage does do two things. One, if it is you have that kind of wealth, it preserves it, so you are not in a position where it is you would be utilizing or using the money that you would have wanted to pass on to your family. And two, it gives you the peace of mind knowing that you will be paying or getting millions of dollars in coverage for a fraction of the cost. So it's two different types of coverages altogether. And also too, with health insurance covers usually, there's limits in terms of health insurance coverage. So sometimes in major medical could be, your limit could be $1 million, it could be 1.5 million. It depends on the type of policy you have. And sometimes based on the critical illness you have, the bill may cross that amount, and also too, it may fall outside of the range of things that health insurance would necessarily pay for.
Can you?
Sorry, no, go ahead. Let me.
That's fine. Go ahead.
At age 30, what does a healthy insurance portfolio look like?
It all depends on the situation, because there's something called life cycle needs, right? So each person at different stages in their life would have different needs. So let's say, for example, a person who is in their early 20s, their needs would be significantly different to somebody who is in their 30s, because when you're in your 20s, you now start to work, you now start to make a little bit of money, you now start to put things together for yourself, right? And you're not in a situation where you may not have children as yet, you still may be living home with your parents. So everything is yours, you're enjoying life. When it is in your 30s, at that point in time, life may begin a little bit more serious. You may have, may be married at that point in time, you may have kids, or you may now be looking to get into a mortgage. So your needs at that point in time will be significantly different. So it's not necessarily a one-size-fits-all. It's really based on your situation. And I would say what's needed would be planning for retirement at that age is very important. Having critical illness coverage is very important at that age as well. And based on your situation, having a particular type of life insurance policy that will fit your needs, but it's only based on a conversation that I'll be able to recommend.
There's I saw, when doing some research for this conversation, I saw that a person's policy should be 10 times their income or something along those lines, right? Is that how a person would calculate how much coverage they would need based on their age or income?
That's a rule of thumb.
Right.
But it's not the only method. So there are many different methods of calculating life insurance coverage. You have the human capital method, you have the that 10 times annual income method, you have the method where it is you take into consideration the age of the youngest child, you have the future life value method. There are many different methods that the advisor, a skilled advisor, could use to really identify the amount of coverage you need, but it's really based on your situation, what you can afford, and also to your goals, because everyone's goals will be different. Some persons may want to make sure that their mortgage is paid off. Some persons may want to make sure that their children don't have to suffer. And then some persons really just don't really care that much, unfortunately. And some people just be like, once the bill's paid off, they're good. And it's really circumstantial. It's really based on each person's situation.
Yeah, understood. So the protection gap, right? The difference between what people actually have and what they should have. Can you break that down for us in really simple terms and just kind of put it in practical terms? What does that look like for the average Trinidadian, Tobagonian?
Okay, so let me get a very, very common, very real life example. Let's say you are in your early 20s, all right? And there would have been an insurance agent who would have been referred to you, and they come and sit down and talk to you and tell you life insurance is something good that you need to have. I'm like, all right, no problem. My mother told me it's good, so I'll take it, right? And you have this policy, you're paying, let's say like around $200-300 in the policy, and your coverage is for a simple figure, let's say $400,000 or $500,000, right? Give or take. Years go by, you're out of your 20s now, you're in your 30s, you get married, you have children, you have a mortgage, and you, in your mind, and when anybody asks you if it is you have insurance, yeah, man, I have insurance, I have enough insurance, I have coverage. But that time you only have about $500,000 coverage. Now, you have a mortgage valued at $1.5 million. You have two children, two young children, right? And then you and your husband seeing about the family standard of living. In the event of your passing, that 500,000 only going and take care of a small portion of the mortgage, right? And then your husband now had to struggle. Your children will lose two parents. One, to passing if this you die, and two, your husband now has to take up extra shift or find a different job to be able to maintain the mortgage and the family standard of living. So the parent will lose one parent, the children lost one parent due to death, and the other parent due to work. That's the reality of the insurance gap. So how insurance really works, how financial planning really works is that you need to sit with your advisor or meet with your advisor consistently as the years go by. A skilled advisor will do annual reviews. So when that, in the event something changes, in the event you have a life cycle event that happens, you would make adjustments. So for example, when it is to get married, you're supposed to review your insurance coverage. When it is to take out a mortgage, you're supposed to review your coverage. When you have your first child, you're supposed to review your coverage. At different stages in your life, you're supposed to review your coverage. And this is why advisors would usually have annual reviews with their clients to make sure that they are on top of everything.
Yeah.
How can advisors beat the allegations that sometimes they come across as predatory? This is coming from somebody who has a world of coverage, so I sort of understand it. But sometimes when you hear from persons in your age mates, they don't want to go and sit down for insurance because it's like, well, they're probably going to recommend me something that I don't need or something that I maybe cannot continue to afford.
I would say that in any industry, there are persons who may not practice the most ethical standards. All right. Let's say, so in my previous profession, I was an electrical engineer, right? I did a lot of engineering work, and I also do domestic electrical installation. And as a tradesman, there's always a saying, all you have is a name. So all you really have as a good tradesman is doing good work for somebody, and they would always recommend you. But if it is to do bad work, they will make sure and tell everybody, right? So not everybody in the insurance industry has, unfortunately, high level of ethical standards. And as a result of that, they would engage in not the best practices. And it's prevalent in any industry. Attorneys, doctors, you'll see dentists online, persons who claim to be dentists, who doing veneers, and they have never had a biology class, right? So this is not something that's unique to the insurance industry, but there would have been a lot of strides in the recent past where we do a lot of training on ethical standards, ethical practices, and also too, as an advisor, every year you need to renew your license. And as a result of that, you have to do continuous development programs, right? CPD courses. And what that does is it gives the advisor opportunities to be trained or recertified in different areas when it comes to ethics, certain areas in financial planning, all these different things. So as the years go by, or every year, advisors need to have a certain amount of hours of CPD credits in order to renew their insurance license. Otherwise, you will not be able to renew it through Central Bank.
So insurance can be described as one of the 4 pillars of financial planning. Can you walk us through the pillars, and then how does insurance fit into that?
What are the 4 pillars?
That I would like you to tell us. I think one of them is
retirement. I think retirement planning would be some sort of them.
No.
Or am I completely off?
No. I don't think so.
Oh. Investments.
Investments. Oh God. Well, Darren, come on.
Okay. So when it is you're talking about pillars, right?
Yeah.
It depends on what angle you're looking at it. So I would say if we change the dynamic a little bit and look at the financial planning pyramid, you have different layers to it, right? And one of the layers would be risk management. So risk management would be taking things into consideration like your car insurance, your house insurance, let's say certain types of life insurance, things of that nature. Then a step above that, well, critical illness as well too. A step above that would be planning for your children's, planning for your retirement, investment, savings, things of that nature. And then a step above that would be education planning for children, and then investments to the top. So there's many different financial planning pillars, pyramids, is really based on which metric that you're looking at. And we could go a lot deeper into different needs, but it's really based on which metric you're looking at.
Right. So if we're looking at let's say investments, retirement, and
an emergency fund or some sort of
savings.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
To fit insurance, let's say, how would we fit insurance into that to make an all-rounded life plan then?
Okay, so this conversation is based on financial planning, right?
Yeah.
And in financial planning, the things that they need to have would be, as I said, emergency fund. Now, an emergency fund could vary based on the person, but a good rule of thumb is to have 3 to 6 months, or if they could have it to the max, a year's worth of expenses in a particular savings fund that they're not touching. After you see about that, you have health insurance coverage. So your health insurance will cover your minor medical, your major medical, things of that nature, doctor visits, that kind of stuff. So you have your emergency fund, you have your health insurance. Then you would have, let's say, things like your property insurance, because if there's your own home, most persons should have home insurance, because in the event of fire, flood, that kind of stuff, and also to contents, because sometimes most people would have insurance on the structure itself, but not the contents, all the furniture, your fridge, your stove, all these things that you buy and spend a lot of money on. In the event of a fire, or you will be essentially in a very difficult place trying to replace everything. Once it is you have those things covered, the insurance conversation would be weaved into that as well too. So based on your situation, you need to have adequate life insurance, you need to have adequate critical illness insurance, and also retirement plan. Now, this sounds like a lot. You don't need to do everything all at once. It can be broken up into bite-sized pieces, but these are things that you should have if it is you really want to secure yourself and your family.
Right. So what about or can you use insurance to build generational wealth? And I mean, compared to, let's say, investments or some sort of retirement savings, if you use insurance or can that be done using insurance to build generational wealth?
Yes. The simple answer is yes.
Right.
And the thing about life insurance is the only vehicle, the only financial instrument that can create an immediate estate upon death. Now, generational wealth is a very broad term.
Yeah.
And if it is you say that you have, again, the example that you have children. So if it is you have one child and you have adequate life insurance, in the event of your passing, that child will receive a lump sum of money. Now, granted, if it is a married, the money will go to your husband, right? See, that's how he's the beneficiary. But that now would put in place a large lump sum of money that you would have created by having this life insurance, because life insurance is the only financial tool that pays you an immediate estate upon death, meaning if it is you have a life insurance policy and you make one payment and you pass away, the entire death benefit is paid out to your family. So it is not determined or dictated by time. So you can take a policy now, and in 5 years' time you pass away, the full death benefit is paid out. And this is why I would say that a lot of people don't understand how life insurance works, because the concept of it is kind of weird. It's like, why would that company pay out the millions of dollars if it is I only pay a certain amount? It's based on the law of large numbers, or the concept of insurance in particular. Without getting too technical, it's really the insurance company is able to pay these monies out based on the financial instrument or the makeup of our insurances, without trying to get too technical and keep it simple for everybody to understand. It's worked in such a way where a pool of people come together, right? So let's say you have a pool of, let's say 1,000 policy holders, and one person dies, right? How insurance works is that the insurance company would have a reserve of funds set out to pay in the event of that person dead. But based on probability, not everybody will die at the same time. So the insurance company will have a certain amount of money to be able to facilitate this need and be able to stay afloat and function as a profitable entity.
Right.
To try to keep it simple.
I'm trying to make a connection because I saw something about insurance companies needing like investable assets in order to, this is how they do their payouts and so on. So is that, can you break that down a bit more for us and kind of explain, because I know these could be some of the industrial challenges, right, in the insurance industry. Companies not finding these investable assets in order to, like, I guess, upkeep their current standing insurance policies or clients. Or
okay, so let me see if I could break this down for you in a simple way here. Insurance companies are rated by a company called AM Best, right? And AM Best determines the financial health of an insurance company, right? Now, some insurance companies, the company that I work with, we are the largest insurer in the Caribbean, have about, give or take, about 28 billion under assets, if I'm not mistaken. And essentially, what insurance companies invest in plenty different things. They invest into real estate, they invest into, in some territories, we own a bank. In some territories, well, in 2 countries, I think we own a bank. So there are many different things that insurance companies invest in to be able to generate profits, not only sales of new policies. So it's from that corporate side of understanding what insurance does or how insurance works. For want of a better word, insurance companies are some of the largest financial institutions in our operating territory. So they would have a wide range of things that will be open to them in terms of to be generating income. This could get complicated, so I try not to make it too complicated. So hopefully that helps.
You can try using like examples in terms of what does an investable asset look like for an insurance company? Because for me, as a young person, investable asset to me might just be like one of those quick investments, those things that you put money into.
So real estate, right? So sometimes insurance companies would own a lot of buildings. So a lot of commercial properties, insurance companies would own them. Insurance companies may have large amounts of shares in certain banks, or they may have large shares in certain projects that may be going on. So it's things like that. So from a large corporate scale, sometimes you may be seeing certain things and you may not be aware that these things are owned by particular insurance companies. Could be, let's say, it could be a mall, or it could be a large building that other companies rent from. That's how a lot of insurance companies make money, in a sense.
Okay. So in terms of, let's talk on a mindset. I think we touched on it a bit earlier in the conversation. With young people, sometimes young people tend to think, well, I don't need insurance. I'm invincible, or I'm not sick, or I'm not going to be sick anytime soon, But again, anything can happen. But, so they tend to stay away from the insurance policies or insurance agents. And if an insurance agent tries to talk to them, they're like, no, I'm not interested. They're never interested.
Or they might get a life insurance policy because their mom or their grandmother told them to. But as Darren would have said earlier, it's like only for $500,000 in coverage.
Yeah.
But what about the other things that can help protect you?
Yeah, and then I wanted to ask, how would you shift their mindset? What would you say to them to, get them on track or get them on board with thinking that, well, making insurance important?
So I can tell you what I do. I do in particular. I create a lot of content online as it relates to explain how insurance works. So I explain how life insurance works. I explain how critical illness insurance works. I explain retirement plan, and I also explain the importance of starting early versus starting later. The reason I do this is because I would have fell into that same category in my earlier years. I'm 36 now, And in my early 20s, I didn't really care about insurance because I didn't understand it. And I realized that that was a lot of the problems that people in my generation would have had. And sometimes another problem is too, sometimes people don't really talk about the positive aspects of insurance. Because the reality is, who would say, or who would come and say that, hey, my mom, my dad passed away and they left me $1 million, $2 million, $500,000. Name one person who would say that. Right?
Yeah.
Nobody will say that. Nobody will come and tell you, I just got $1 million from my parent. And what people else do? For those who would have benefited from insurance, what usually happens, they keep very quiet, and you will see them start a business. And when it is, they have a lot of money to start the business, and they see the business start and growing good, and then you will ask yourself where they get that money from, or how they got the money to start that business, but they will never tell you. Or they will never say, well, it's because of my parents, my mom, my dad passed, and they wanted me to invest into some property, and I took the money and I did that. They will never tell you, because the way how Trinidad is, the way how people are, not doing Trinidad, people usually tend not to speak about the benefits or when it is they receive large sums of money just based on the nature of it. But have one person who missed the payments years ago and they forgot that they had a life insurance policy, and time something happened, they want to make a claim, they will tell everybody insurance companies are scam, they don't pay the this, the that, all kind of reasons people have come up with to say things negative.
Yeah, because I think one of the things, well, in my experience, there was well, I'm not going to call the insurance company, but my mom had like these policies open for my brothers and I, and since we were younger, like since we were small, right? And she, as we got older, she kind of put the onus on us to pay these policies, right? So she would pay it up until a certain point, and then she told us about it, gave us our policies, and said, you have a monthly payment, start paying, right? And my brothers, well, one of my brothers, he forgot about it, and like he missed some of his payment deadlines and stuff. But the issue with that is, and well, he lost his policy, right? Which was so, well, it's not funny, but the issue with that is that the insurance company, they don't send reminders. Well, this particular one, I don't know if all insurance companies do that. They don't send reminders for payment. So it's like you have to remember that you have this payment before this date every month. They don't send you an email. They don't call. They don't and I think that is so wrong, because you have so many other things going on in your life. Sometimes you're not going to remember this. Even when it comes to car insurance, I get an email every year when I have to pay, before I have to pay my car insurance, when my car insurance is upcoming, which is amazing. It reminds me, right? But with any sort of life insurance, so they don't remind you, which is why I think there's that distrust, and people say, well, it's a scam because they want me to lose my policy, so they don't have to.
Let me ask a question, right?
Right.
Let me ask a question. Do you receive an email to pay your internet bill?
No.
Do you receive an email to pay your light bill?
No, but I receive an email to pay my
email
car insurance. Why do I receive an email to pay my car insurance but I can't receive one for other insurance policies?
While I see the validity in what it is you're saying, and yes, with car insurance, they do send you reminders. But keep in mind, sometimes with life insurance, the advisor who would have initially given you the policy may have retired out of the business, right? They may have changed careers. There are many different reasons, right? Now, in my opinion, that doing your due diligence is important, because this policy is for you. That's the thing people don't realize, you know. The life insurance company is not the one who necessarily benefits the most out of this insurance policy, you know. Because from a large scale, your premium, let's say, might be $200-300, right? Or let me say $1,000, give or take, wherever the amount is. What that payout for you would represent, let's say if this your policy coverage is $1 million, $2 million, you are the one, or your family are the ones who is really dependent on that money, not necessarily the insurance company.
Yeah.
So it's your duty to take care or to mind your own business, because nobody will mind it for you. Now, yes, granted, if it is you have a good advisor, your good advisor would give you reminders. They would tell you every year or be in communication with you to tell you they pay premiums, this and that is the case. But at the end of the day, the responsibility is really yours.
Yeah. But so what could be, are there instances like in the case where my brother, he lost his policy because he just forgot about the payment and whatever, but this is a policy that would have been paid for many, many years since he was, small and as a young adult now, just to lose it completely? What is how could people, because I guess people listening to that would be like, well, you see, this is why I stay away from insurance, because I pay for 10 years, I miss one payment, and I lose those 10 years.
So, you see, it's based on the type of policy you have.
Right.
1. 2, more than likely the agent who would have sold that policy to your mother, they may not necessarily be in the business again, they may have retired.
Yeah.
That's 1. 2, your mom was supposed to sit you all down and explain to you all what type of policy that was, or what the policy does, or what the coverage does, right? And this is something that, if it's not done, the children who would have, like you all who had the policy, you all don't know what the policy means, you all don't know what kind of coverage it is. So it could be a term policy that has no cash value, or it could be a policy that has a little bit of cash value, and when it is the policy is not paid for a certain period of time, the cash value starts to deplete based on being used to pay the premium. Start playing plenty different factors that could be taken into consideration. So I would say in that situation, I always talk to my clients about having a conversation with their beneficiaries about what type of policy they have, what's the benefits, what happens in the event of passing or event of death, and what happens if I am not here, because sometimes the agent might die too.
Yeah.
So if it is the agent pass away as well, what then is the situation? So I would say it's up to 2 parties have to take accountability. 1, the agent, in terms of properly explain to the parent or the party and the other parties involved, and 2, having conversations with the children or with the other parties what these things are, because I realize in some Caribbean families, households, they tend to not talk about money. Plenty people don't talk about money. People don't talk about life insurance because they feel as though that the calling debt on themselves, or the whatever shippiness that I say, right? And for whatever reason, people do like to talk about money. In my opinion, money should be a conversation. It should be happening with the children from young. Because if it is you don't have that conversation, they grow up to make poor financial decisions, and the cycle of poor financial decisions, poor financial habits is perpetuated throughout time.
So what would you say to people who feel insurance premiums are too expensive or too high compared to their monthly income?
That is insurance premiums are based on your needs, right? So the policy that our agent recommends should be within a certain range of your affordability. Should be, all right? Now, insured based on the type of policy you have or the type of coverage you have, think of it this way. And this is an example I like to give people when it is talking about critical illness insurance. Or let me give a better example. Sometimes people can relate to car insurance. Let's say your car insurance is $2,500 for the year. You have a car, you have a 2017 Cerato, right? And your insurance for the year is $2,500. If it is you get in an accident, a bumper not costing $2,500. If it is you had that car from inception to now, the amount of premiums you would have paid will not be the same amount for you to replace let's say, a front cut. right?
Right.
Or your windscreen. So insurance will always be the premiums that you pay will always be less than the amount that you receive.
Yeah. And what in terms of like insurance advisors, because I know it is a good idea to have an insurance advisor that you can go to. Like you said earlier in the conversation, you should consult with your insurance advisor annually, just to update whatever policies, updates, anything life-changing that would have occurred within that year. So what makes a great insurance advisor? And, in terms of skills like emotional intelligence or an insurance advisor having empathy or these different things, like what are some of the characteristics that make a good advisor?
This could be a very touchy subject for some advisors. I would say what makes a good advisor is continuous professional development, in my opinion. Because as in any profession, there are certain standard requirements that an advisor needs to have. You need to have your license, to do your state license, that's long-term, that's to be able to sell life, health, pensions, that type of stuff. You need to have your general insurance license. And after that, there is now the industry would have regulated that you need to have something called FSCP, Financial Services Certified Professional. That designation is really a 3-year program, basically 3.5 years, give or take, and it gives you all of the details about understanding different aspects of insurance. So either being able to identify client needs, being able to understand insurance products, being able to understand retirement planning. In my opinion, these courses are necessary. In the past, unfortunately, they were not mandatory in order for you to maintain a license. Now companies make it mandatory. And because a lot of agents would not have gone through this training program, they would have not been, or they would have practiced poor, for want of a better word, practices. They'd have engaged in poor practices over the years, right? Now, you tend to find the advisors who have the designation tend to be the advisors who give clients better recommendations. And now you can take it a step further. You could go and do, so what it costs, the two of the designations that I'm doing is Chartered Financial Consultant, that's CHFC, and Chartered Life Underwriter, that's CLU. Now, those are the gold standard when it comes to designations in the insurance industry globally. And usually there are very few advisors who would have done it. As far as I know in the country, there are a handful. And if I'm not mistaken, currently practicing in the market right now, there are about 3 other advisors, and I will make it the 4th. So there are very few people who choose to study in the insurance industry. Insurance is a very large and complicated area of study. It's difficult, it's frustrating, and a lot of advisors don't really want to go through all of that unnecessary headache in terms of studying. So it's really based on the advisor. Now, not all the time you need to do all those extra studies. I just do it because I want to be the best at what it is I do. I want to make sure that when it is I give my clients a recommendation, it's from a very high level and it must be technically sound. So regardless of whatever time pass, your recommendations will always be at a high level regardless, and be able to stand the scrutiny. But not all advisors have that same set of mindset.
To add to Naomi's question, when you're agent shopping or your advisor shopping, what are these soft skills you want to look for? Like, you don't want to ask about the technical, all of that. What's the soft skills you want to look for?
The soft skills is advisor who listens. So not necessarily. So I mentor a few agents and I tell them when it is doing a presentation to a client, this is not a monologue. It's a dialogue. It's a conversation. So being able to listen to our clients' needs, being able to understand them, being able to be empathetic with the situation, being able to understand that not everybody can afford to do everything at the same time. and know that where you start now is not where you would end up. So some agents does tend to push a little bit too much. I don't have that type of approach. I tend to take my time with the clients. I tend to be very empathetic to their situation and take into consideration looking at things that they don't see. So I try to future forecast for the client as well and be knowing that I am the one who is the expert in the space. I lend my services from a space of we are working this or we are doing this thing together, and as time goes by, I will help you each step of the way.
In terms of, well, how to structure this? Let's say, okay, if someone could start with just one policy today, what do you, in your opinion, what should that be to start?
It depends on the situation, because each person's situation is different.
Yeah.
That person could be. Give me a little bit more context.
Okay, let's do either or, like life insurance or health insurance. Which should they look at first, or which comes first?
It depends again.
So say they're a 29-year-old female. 29-year-old female, they just started working for big girl money. So they have a significant salary now, a high paying job relatively. They don't have any current health conditions, but they have maybe something present in the family that they're likely to develop later on. It's not super critical, but it can pose an issue.
Right. Yeah. So that's a very good scenario. So the picture in that scenario, I would say you would look at critical illness coverage first and foremost, seeing as how you have something in the family, more than likely it's cancer, something like that. Critical illness coverage, one. If they say now start making big girl money, start putting aside money for the older girl, right? So start putting aside a little bit for your retirement, because the younger you are now, you're able to contribute a lot more for a lot less, if that makes sense, right? Yeah. So you have, based on time, I like to use the example of retirement planning or the analogy of riding a bike up a hill. So the younger you start is like the gradient is very low, right? But the older you start, the gradient increases. So the gradient gets much harder to pedal up a hill, right? So paying aside a little bit could go a long way. Those are two things I recommend: critical illness coverage, retirement planning, and some health insurance coverage. So sometimes, based on where you're working, your company may give you a health plan. If not, you look at an individual health plan through the insurance company, or something that people already realize: credit unions offer health insurance, and the credit union option is significantly more affordable than directly through the insurance company.
When it comes to life insurance, do all those things fit under the life insurance policy, or can it fit under a life insurance policy?
It's different. So everything is different. So each policy, so how insurance works, right? Insurance is a broad area, but within insurance, you have life insurance, critical illness insurance, and then within life insurance, there are plenty different types of life insurance. Critical illness insurance, then you have retirement plans. So everything is really in an individual policy by itself.
Right.
And the advisor will recommend what's best for you at that point in time and based on your affordability.
And what about annuities?
Annuities is part of retirement planning.
Right.
So most people don't realize that your job will pay you a percentage of your final earnings, right? So you say people talk about the insurance gap again, right? So now there's the retirement planning gap. So plenty of people would say, yes, I have a pension plan. Okay, in your company pension plan, what's the contributions? How much are you contributing, right? Or what's your contribution towards the company's matching contribution? Sometimes they may not know. Sometimes people don't realize that if it is, let's say for simple maths, you working on a salary of $10,000, simple maths every working it, right? Your company pension plan will only pay you, unless like you working like in the government service, but it is you make 30 years and you get like 50% of your final earnings, and that's your base salary. Yeah? That is not your allowances and all these different things. So if this is your base salary is $10,000, your base salary is $10,000, your pension going to be $5,000 in the government service, right? Most private companies don't give you that high of a pension. Most private companies just go up to probably like about 20%, give or take, and that's a real good company. So imagine you working on $10,000 today and you retiring tomorrow. Your pension tomorrow going to be give or take something like around 2005, give or take, right? Now, in a lot of cases, persons don't necessarily match their employer contributions. So some companies would have, based on the plan itself, they can match the contributions. If the company contributes a certain amount, you can match, or if it is you contribute a certain amount, the company will match it. So if it is you contribute $400, the company contribute $400, right? Up to a certain percentage of your income. And then now, when you reach that maximum contribution, you will realize that there's still not enough. And this is where the gap comes in when it comes to retirement planning, because people only take retirement seriously when it is they are like 5 years before they retire. And then they don't have any time again. So that's why I make it my duty to let as much young people who in the early 20s, the early 30s, start earning big girl and big boy money. You need to start putting aside some money for the older version of yourself, because if you don't, that older version will be very disappointed in the younger version of you.
Yeah. So to close, what advice would you give to viewers who may still be hesitant or not fully sold yet on whether or not they should start their insurance journey?
I would say that do not listen to the negative propaganda that is circulated towards insurance. I would say that the people who understand insurance make the most out of it. And sometimes I have a lot of clients. A large section of my portfolio is within the range of, give or take, 23 to 35. And those will comprise of Gen Zs and younger millennials. And a lot, the narrative is changing. A lot of people seeing the importance, a lot of younger people seeing the importance of insurance. They're not falling for the propaganda that insurance is a scam and this, that, and the other, because they identify that they would have seen people who they know personally, either would have gotten diagnosis of critical illness, people who are working to retire and they're complaining that they have no money when it is they retire, or they're seeing their parents who would have been in situations to be able to leave something for them didn't. So the narrative is changing. I would say you can follow my page, shameless plug, Darren Jacobs Financial, on Instagram, TikTok. I create a lot of content there explaining how insurance works and the different applications of it. So I realized that creating a space where the rumors or the misconceptions are dispelled, one, and two, the information is coming from a credible source. It does help in terms of closing the gap of misinformation, misinterpretation, and being able to utilize these financial instruments to the best of your ability.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think we covered everything that we wanted to. Judy, was that?
No, I was just agreeing. I was saying yes, quite a lot.
Oh, yes. So, Darren, thank you so much for joining us on the program this morning and having this discussion with us. I think it was very timely as well. I know just now you mentioned your social media page where I guess viewers can check it out if you all want more information or, you know, enjoying the conversation and you do want to find out more misconceptions and these kind of things. So that was shameless plug on TikTok and Instagram.
Yes, Darren Jacobs Financial, DARON Financial. You can look for me on, I post a lot of content on Instagram and TikTok. I answer a lot of questions as well from the comments. So this conversation here is basically a conversation that happens all the time online in the comment section. And I always make videos explaining different parts of how life insurance does work, how retirement planning does work. So I always talk about these things. So I'm very happy and glad to continue this type of conversation in person.
Yeah. No, it was really, really good. I think what I was most excited to hear about is that whole the life insurance versus health insurance scenario, because I think it's confusing sometimes, you know, and a lot of it was clarified in this conversation. So I'm pleased.
I know insurance is confusing.
Yes.
I study insurance, and if I didn't study insurance, it would have been, and I had no prior framework of how insurances work. I would have the same viewpoints as well too. But because I studied, because I understand it so intimately, I make it my duty to simplify it as much as I can. I try to simplify it as much as I can because it could get real complicated real fast. So I try to keep it very simple in layman's terms, in Trini language things that we can apply. So hopefully I think I'm doing a little bit of a good job.
Yeah, for sure. And all we have to remember, guys, is we're not getting any younger, and anything can happen out of our control. So it's better to be safe than sorry. I think that's one major slogan for insurance. Anyhow, so thank you again, Darren, for joining us and
thanks for having me.
This discussion. So I do hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
You too.
Bye. All right, so we are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, it is Feel Good Friday. So I believe we have some stories for you. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Remember waking up early just to catch your favorite cartoons? WESN brings back those magical mornings with Retro Saturdays.
Thus, the Powerpuff Girls were born!
Where the young at heart relive the fun. Join us every Saturday from 8 a.m. to 12 noon, only on WESN, the content capital.
Bill and Ruth fell in love with the Benjamin Moore color Dry Sage, but they tried to match it using another brand's paint.
I mean, it's close enough.
Almost identical, really. Yeah, there it is.
Never trust another paint to be a Benjamin Moore color.
Do you need treatment for obesity or any related abdominal procedures? The community hospital now offers minimally invasive laparoscopic surgery done by an American-trained, board-certified surgeon with over 20 years' experience.
Give us a call at 235-5479
for more information.
The Community Hospital of Seventh-day Adventist,
where good private health care is affordable.
Advanced Solutions Technical Institute isn't just about courses, it's about creating futures. We serve every learner, from the new graduate to the seasoned professional, with engaging, supportive staff and tailored learning plans. Study in the way that works for you and gain skills in business, security, finance, telecoms, fiber optics, and beyond. ASTI, training tomorrow's leaders today.
Low energy? Heart concerns? Migraines slowing you down? It's time to take control of your health. Join Wellness Unlocked, the series that brings expert advice and real solutions for a healthier you. In our latest episode, learn how Jameson CoQ10 can help support heart health, boost energy, and even reduce migraines. Get the science, the stories, and the steps to power up your health with CoQ10. Don't miss Wellness Unlocked. Watch now on WESN and start your wellness journey today.
KDM Health Limited says, test yourself for STDs in the privacy of your own home. Our self-help test kits for all STDs are available at our wholesale office in Chaguanas. Call 283-1423. Visit our website at www.kdmhealtht.com. or email us at kdmhealthlimited@gmail.com to place your orders. Available at all health institutions and pharmacies. Contact us for a free list of products and prices.
FanZone, your reliable, authentic supplier, has just gotten better. You can now visit our website www.fanzonett.com for your authentic wear and collectibles. The only place where you can use both your Visa debit and credit cards. Visit our website fanzonett.com to make your purchase today. SM Group International Limited, your solutions partner for the latest innovations, brands, and competent staff to meet your needs. We provide products and services in the following divisions: executive services, event rental and services, power and heavy equipment, construction and property management, food and beverage, aggregate and sales and distribution. Check out more on our products and services at www.smgrouptt.com. Contact us at 221-7445 or email at info@smgrouptt.com. We are SM Group International, your solutions partner.
Money is something we all deal with, but how many of us truly understand it? What if you could make better decisions with your money? Decisions that secure your future, protect your family, and bring you peace of mind. I'm Darren Jacobs, and I'm here to help you make sense of your dollars. Welcome to Dollars and Cents, the show that breaks down the financial world in ways that matter to you. No jargon, no confusion, just real conversations about money, your money. So join me every Wednesday at 10 a.m. on WESN for Dollars and Cents.
You are watching Strictly Legal on WESN Content Capital. Just give an overview of what exactly is that split arrangement.
In the studio now, you don't need to register nothing. You don't need, we can do that another time. But then it becomes a hit, and then everybody starts to want to claim.
The laws that predate many of the independent countries' constitutions are going to be those colonial laws.
We know there are an infinite amount of circumstances that would lead to a murder.
I have a great idea and I have a great concept, but until it's actually expressed, it does not become intellectual property.
Accomplishments or targets of a forensic accountant is to quantify what may have been lost.
We believe in different criminals and we manipulated the law and we're exploiting the system.
A responsible journalist will reach out to the person who they have the information on for a comment.
Welcome back to AM Prime. So it is Feel Good Friday, so we have a few stories for you. Jada is gonna start us off.
Yes, so just two quick things I came across that I thought was like very heartwarming. Both of these stories that we're gonna be talking to you guys about are completely local, so good things happen in Trinidad and Tobago, amidst all of the horrible news that we've been hearing, good things do still happen. So I wanted to tell you guys about something called a cat cafe. So it's a little community operating inside of St. Augustine, in a community. It's part of a larger community in the Tender Heart Animals Foundation, which promotes the philosophy of compassion and respect for animals. So in doing that, the name of the cat cafe is called Lily's Cat Cafe. It's named after the cat that started it all. Her name is Lily. I just thought it was really, really cute. So in this cafe, you can go to the compound and just interact and play with cats. You can pet them, you can stretch with them, you can color with them, you can do arts and crafts projects with them. So you can make an appointment to go. It's all make an appointment to go, or you can do a walk-in once space allows. But it's just a nice little environment where you can go to kind of de-stress, where the cats can provide you a little bit of comfort. In addition to that, you also learn a lot more about cats and kittens, because a lot of the times people have this idea that cats are ferocious, or they you can't really be around them, or they're antisocial. But when you go to the cat cafe, you kind of learn more about the nature and the behavior of cats, where they're very friendly. They want to be around you most of the time. And if you're somebody who hasn't really been exposed to animals that much, or you're really scared of animals, it might be a good environment for you to go into to kind of learn how to work with the, I know as we like to call it here on WSN on AM Prime, the ambassadors. The ambassadors of the cat community here in Trinidad and Tobago. So I just thought it was a really cute thing that we're doing here.
Yeah, it is very unusual, which is nice. I love to hear unique experiences popping up. And cats are something that I think any type of small animal would kind of brighten your mood. I mean, yes, there are some people that don't like cats. But then if it's not for you, stay away from it. It's that simple.
But if you're looking to get more involved and learning more about them, I kind of want to beat that fear. It's a good place to go to, because not only do you have handlers there to help you, to guide you, make sure you're not too scared, but also there to protect the kittens and the cats as well. The initiative was started by Michelle Pounder and Akil Samuel. It was during the COVID years, so in 2020, when of course, it was very doom and gloom, and people didn't know what to expect, and then they adopted a cat. And this cat, they love this cat so much, they decided to make it a thing for everybody, where it's like, well, I love cats, you want to learn about cats, you come and love cats as well. And they actually even have a dog on the compound that they said basically acts like a cat, because there's just so many around. It's a cute environment.
Yeah, that's really nice. Where are they located?
They are located at number 2 Diane Street, St. Augustine. One thing to note now, even though it's called a cat cafe, they have not opened up like a food environment. So they don't sell food right now. They're hoping to in the later future. But as of right now, it's an environment where they host projects. They host like community gatherings where, yes, you can come and you can relax, but you can also do like a cat yoga. You can do like, it's so cute, yoga. You can do do your arts and crafts projects, just different projects to kind of de-stress you and maybe calm you down. So if you have a lot of anxiety and you don't mind cats, you can go to the compound. Again, it's that number 2 Diane Street in St. Augustine, and you can just sort of decompress. It's nice.
It's good that you clarify that, because when you started speaking about it initially, I was like, oh, so it's a cafe, and it's probably cat themed. So
that'll be cute. I hope that's something they do.
Well, if they do come out with a menu of some sort, whether it be teas and coffee or little desserts or pastries, that would be nice, because I guess that's something people can go to and still unwind, and then just have the cats around you, because there are a lot of people who are avid cat lovers. I personally know some of them, and
I love.
Yeah.
And then most domestic animals, and of course, we have the program here only on Prime called Wild Wednesday, where they're not domestic animals, they're very much wild animals, and you get to warm up to them and love them just as much. So
Yeah.
it's a teaching environment. It's a calm environment. So if you're ever on the St. Augustine, I think is in the east, in the east side. Yeah.
After QREP, I believe. Let's not talk too much about direction.
The Lily's Cat Cafe on almost all social media, so you can go and reach out and go and do a little walk in and see what's there for you, what's in store for you there. Again, number 2 Dion Street, St. Augustine.
Awesome. All right. So
the next story I wanted to highlight is I'm sure a lot of you viewers, listeners out there know or maybe have heard of Alyssa Joseph. She is an 18-year-old gospel singer, musician, local musician, who has the voice of 1,000 angels. And she represents Trinidad and Tobago in a lot of different events, and she always wins big. But this past month, she represented at the Miles E. Monroe Diplomat Center during the Caribbean Gospel Music Marlin Awards in Nassau, Bahamas. And she would have walked away with 2 major honors. She was awarded for the Outstanding Afro-Pop Recording for one of her songs called Kingdom Daughter, and she was also named Outstanding New Artist at the Regional Gospel Awards ceremony. So Alyssa, she is very young, very sprightly, but when you hear her sing, you do not think she's 18 at all. So I just wanted to kind of give some big ups to Alyssa, sending in that way, because it's always good to see people representing our country in a very positive way. Even a couple of years ago, I think she even represented, I can't remember where it was, but it was somewhere in the US, and she would have walked away with another award. So she's always representing very, very well for Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, recently we've been hearing a lot of instances where our music or our talent, our local talent, is doing really big things on international stages. So that is very, it's a feel-good moment for sure,
Yeah. So if you want to hear more from Alyssa, you can find her on Spotify, you can find her on YouTube, or you can follow her on her social media. It's at Alyssa Joseph everywhere. So it's good to go and not just encourage our talent, but also our young people, because young people are exposed to many different things. They could be doing the worst things out there, and when they're doing good, it's important to uplift that. It's important to encourage that and make it something that other little children could look up to as well.
Of course.
So big up you, Alyssa.
And I think it would be a really good idea. We can try to get Alyssa on the program and just talk to her about her experience and,
Yeah. We'll make that happen. We
can definitely make that happen.
But Feel Good Friday. It's a good day to feel good. It's a good day to remember that, yes, in spite of all of the bad things that can happen, that will happen, that has happened, at the end of the day, we have something good to hold on to. So remember these stories, remember these people, remember the people that are doing good, and try to emulate their actions as best as possible.
Awesome. Well, I guess that brings today's show to an end. Our quote for today: in the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. This is a quote by Albert Einstein. It's a quote about perspective. Difficulties, challenges, and setbacks, they naturally feel like roadblocks in your life. So, and when we reach roadblocks, or we approach roadblocks in our lives, we often feel setback, and we fail to look at the bigger picture out of just frustration, stress. And Einstein's whole point in this is that in every struggle, there's also the seed for something new to come out of it. Because where there's struggle, ideally you would want to make a change. So this is
Pressure makes diamonds.
Was that?
Pressure makes diamonds.
Yes.
It's a true statement. So sometimes you have to go through the fire to come out on the other end reformed and better.
And you grow stronger. You're able to come up with some sort of intervention or learn a new skill, or this is where you'd come out of your comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
so in the
I love
middle
that.
of difficulty lies opportunity. So embrace the difficult times.
Well, yes, so as you said, it brings us to the end of our program here this morning. As you know, you can always engage with us on WESN TV, WESN CC, or you can WhatsApp us at 682-9376, 682-9376. If you want to reach either Naomi or I on Instagram, you can reach Naomi at Naomi McNish or myself at I am Jada McLeod. So go on to our socials, go on to your supports, because we've been posting a lot more on there about the different things that we're doing. We actually recently covered the CPL game, the home games here. It's amazing coverage. So go ahead and check that out as well.
Yeah. All right. So guys, we are approaching the weekend. It's right there. So I do hope you stay safe. Enjoy your weekend. Stay inspired. Stay informed.
There's one thing you want to say before we properly close.
What's that?
Drive safely on the roads, guys. Don't speed. Don't speed. It's better to be late than dead. Right? Just want to plug that in there.
That's a good thing to add. Yeah. So, right, we have Sean Michael Small at 8 o'clock, as you all know, with Talking Point. So stay tuned for that later on. And yeah, we'll see you back here again tomorrow, Monday morning. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
WESN.
Maybe he landed here totally by coincidence. But if by chance he's admiring your fresh coat of Benjamin Moore soft sky blue, well, that's a pretty high compliment. Coming from an expert.